Hey everybody, Ryan from Rhino Hockey Channel here. Alright, I'm going to be going over the 2021 San Jose Sharks season preview. Alright, if you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell to be notified when I drop a new video. Make sure to share the video, and also let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree, disagree, it's fine if you disagree, no hard feelings. Just be civil in the comments is all I ask. Alright, let's get started. This is who San Jose added. They added Nick Bonino, guy they originally drafted, then traded away. 2 years, $2.05 million per. Andrew Cogliano, 1 year, $1 million. Two former Ducks on this team. Actually, three on this list. James Reimer, 2 years, $2.25 million per. Jacob Megna, 1 year, $750,000. Our former Duck there. Nick Merkley. I don't know if he's related to one of the Sharks' top prospects, Ryan Merkley, or not. They may be brothers. I could be wrong. But they added Nick Merkley from New Jersey for Christian Yaros and signed him to a 1 year, $750,000 deal. Lane Pearson was acquired from Arizona for a 2024 fourth round pick. Signed him for 2 years at $750,000 per. Aiden Hill and a 2022 seventh round pick were acquired from Arizona for Joseph Kornash and a 2022 second round pick. They also picked up on waivers from Vancouver, Jonah Gadjovich. Now the subtractions. Lean Bergman, mutual termination of the contract. Myron Jones was bought out. That's probably the best move they've made thus far. Nick Bonino is not a bad signing. He's a pretty good third-line center, fourth-line center, one of the two. Curtis Gabriel went to Toronto. Figured they were going to bring him back since they benched him last half of the season after a really stupid major penalty he took at one point. Craig Pattern went to Anaheim. Maxime Letunov went to Carolina. Joseph Kornash to Arizona via trade. Ryan Donato, kind of surprising they didn't re-sign him. He didn't have that bad of a year. Not a spectacular year, but not that bad of a year. But he went to Seattle. And another mutual contract termination in Vladislav Kotkov. They re-signed Alex Barabanov, 1 year, $1 million. He actually looked pretty good when they acquired him at trade deadline. Matt Nieto re-signed for 2 years, $850,000. Hopefully he can be healthy. He missed pretty much half the season. Rudolph Balcers had an amazing year for them and signed a really team-friendly deal, in my opinion, off the year that he had for him. 2 years, $1.55 million per. And Aiden Hill re-signed for 2 years, $2.175 million per. Once again, both those are prove-it deals. Make sure that they can continue to go in the right direction. Salary cap situation. San Jose is sitting at $76 million presently, with about $4.6 million in cap space. Now, I'm not sure this is reflective of the news about Vander Kane going on the non-active roster. I don't know. He's not over 35, so I don't know if he still counts against the cap or not. And if he doesn't, they have all the more room. So I think he's got like $7.5 million contract. We'll see when we get the contracts. But yeah, that could save them a lot of room right there. This is what the forwards. Oh, here we go. It's $7 million for Kane. Okay. Let's see. They have Logan Couture for the foreseeable future, probably till he's 40. Vander Kane, they technically have for another 4 years. Timo Meyer for another 2. Then they have to offer him a $10 million more contract at that point if they want to retain his restricted free agent rights. That's his qualifying offer that they have to give him, is $10 million or more. Tomas Hertl is a UFA. That's a guy, if they do tank this year, like I'm guessing they probably will, then he's a guy who could be moved, and he can be moved for quite a bit, so I can see them moving him. Andrew Cogliano, Alexander Barabanov are both UFAs at the end of the season. Gadjovich and Jonathan Dahlin are RFAs after this season, so we'll see where all these go. Hertl is definitely the biggest one, for sure. On the defensive side, they have Mario Ferraro and Nikolai Knizhov, both actually pretty good young defenders. Both were pretty solid for this team last year, considering Vlasic, Burns, and Carlson on the defensive game. It's like watching beer league hockey. Yeah, it's not very good. It's fun to watch, but it's fun to watch because it's so bad. It's just how it is, unfortunately. Ryan Shimmick, they end up keeping him out of Seattle's hands, so that was amazing. James Reimer and Aiden Hill are their goalies this year. I mean, compared to uh, what's his name, Martin Jones and Devin Dubnyk last year, I guess it's about the same. And they have Martin Jones they're going to be paying for the next few years with his buyout. Excuse me. On the non-roster forward side, kind of surprised John Leonard's not marked as in the active roster. Same with William Eklund. I don't understand that because I thought Eklund at least made the team for sure. Same with Gambrell. But according to this, they're not. Dylan Gambrell and John Leonard, as well as Zachary Gallant, Alexander Chmielewski, Jacob McGrew, Nick Merkley, Noah Gregor, Joaquin Blickfeld, and Jaden Habgawaks. That's incorrect to the max, that pronunciation. But they are all RFAs, and Joel Shellman is a UFA. So they have a lot of guys down there. I mean, they have some guys who are worth watching, like a Tristan Robbins, John Leonard, William Eklund for sure, Ozzy Wiesblatt, and like a Chmielewski. But I can't say any of them are top high-end prospects. I mean, William Eklund is, of course, but the rest of them, they're mid to low range prospects. They're not huge prospects. But that doesn't mean they can't develop into something. They could. I mean, when they drafted Joe Pavelski in the 7th round or 8th round or 9th round, whatever it was when they drafted him, they didn't expect a whole lot from him, but they got a whole lot. All right, on defense, you got Princeton Pasichnuk. I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure. Nicholas Malash, who I thought it wasn't there anymore. And Jacob Middleton are all RFAs. Jacob Megna is a UFA. They do have Ryan Merkley down there. Santeri Hataka is one guy that they've talked about too. Artemi Kanizev is another one. I mean, other than that, I'm not sure about the the Brinson guy up there. I'm not sure. They do have Alexei Melnichuk, who got a few games in last season, as a goalie that they've talked about. He's an RFA, as is Zach Sachenko after this season. So, see if Melnichuk can get some games in this year. This is how their 2021 draft went. They got lucky, definitely lucky, because William Eklund fell into their lap. That's a fairly good prospect who was predicted to be the 3rd overall pick out of the Ducks. But no, I mean, they weren't the only ones who passed on him. The 4th overall, 5th overall, 6th overall, all passed on him. I mean, it's not that he's not a good talent. He's a good offensive talent. I've seen questions about his back-end game, like his defensive portion, and also the fact that he's not a large player. I believe he's like 5'10", 5'11". He's not a huge guy, but doesn't mean you can't play. I mean, it brings into question picking someone that early a lot of the times. I don't understand why, but it does. Well, I do understand why, but sometimes it just doesn't matter what your size is. If you're just that dang good, you're that dang good. But teams I know in the NHL, they worry about someone smaller stature getting the head taken off. Not literally, but figuratively. So, understandable. Alright, this is their draft picks for the next few years. They have their own first. They do not have a 2nd round pick. They have their 3rd, their 4th. They have Buffalo's 5th, their own 6th, and they have Arizona and Minnesota 7th. Next year, in 2023, they have all their own picks. And in 2024, they have all their own except a 4th round pick they do not have. So, this team somehow is still losing draft picks. I mean, 2 years now they've been out of the playoffs, and they're still losing draft picks. I don't understand it. Alright, this is what Cap Friendly, once again, go check them out. Great resource, anything cap related. Is predicting their lines to be based off of depth charts. And that would be first line Logan Couture with Timo Meier and Jonathan Dahlin. I know they've been looking forward to Dahlin getting into the lineup. On the second line, Tomas Hertl, William Eklund, and Rudolph Balcers. Like I said, Balcers had a pretty decent year last year, 17 points in 41 games. I know that's not blowing anybody away numbers-wise, but considering they reclaimed him on waivers, That says a lot. He actually put in the work and he looked good and he deserved more than what he got last year. Hurdle definitely their number 2 forward, technically last year, because Kane was their first one. So losing Kane now this year, they're losing 22 goals and 27 assists and 49 points. So now that puts Mr. Hurdle as the top forward. Logan Couture should be, but he had a very pedestrian year. I mean, Gray is 32, but that's usually the prime time, not the drop time. But still, Hurdle is a good player, and honestly, if they don't do anything, they're going to get some good assets for him. And the third line, you got Nieto, Benino, and LeBanc. LeBanc not developing offensively the last couple years they had hoped. Fourth line, you got Cogliano, Peterson, and Barabanov, which it looks like Barabanov is injured. They also have injury reserve for Jeffrey VL. I always see it as VL, not the Truchon VL. Then Nikolai Kanishov, which Kanishov could be one that hurts. But that is, according to the third defensive pair, Santeri Hataka's advantage. Because he gets games because of that injury. Which, if I remember right, is supposed to be only like a few weeks. Nothing super long. But first pair will be Mario Ferraro and Brent Burns. They looked like they worked well together last year. Ferraro was definitely the better defender. Burns, offensively, dropping down significantly, 29 points. What do you have, like 75, 76 points 2 seasons ago, and now he's down to 29. I think he had like 40-something last year. So he's dropping offensively quick. Carlson, most goalies he's had since with San Jose, but still 22 points for him. And he's on the second pair with Radim Šimić, who is the better defender of the two for sure at this point. Defensive defender. Then third pair, Marco Eduard, Vlasic, and Santeri Hataka. Once again, Vlasic just looking like he's having a hard time keeping up at this point, honestly. He averaged 17:30 a time on ice, which is, I believe, the lowest he's had in probably about a decade. But still, I mean, he's played with Erik Karlsson before, so I wouldn't be surprised if he plays there more often, especially later in a game, a close game especially. Goalie-wise, Adin Hill and James Reimer. I mean, Adin Hill had the better numbers. Reimer actually didn't do too bad last year, but he's 33. He's played with San Jose before, so at least he knows the area. Then on the scratches, you got Jasper Weatherby. Honestly, I've never heard of that guy. Jacob Middleton and Adam Raska. I've never heard of Raska either, but drafted 201 in 2020. Okay, well, good luck. It's always nice to see someone that late in draft play. 5'10" as a defender? Why does it say he's a defender there, but it says his position left wing, right wing? That's confusing. I don't understand that. And you can see at the bottom down there, non-roster, that would be Evander Kane. So, not sure how the cap's working with that. Not sure how any of it's working with that, so we'll have to see. Minors and loan. Last year, Dylan Gambrell played almost every game, so did John Leonard. So, kind of surprised to see them down in the minors. Noah Gregor played 30 games. Nick Merkley played 27 with New Jersey. Kadiovic had a game with Vancouver. Cholesky played a few games with San Jose. Blickfeld played a few games. Was known in those games. Like I said, he was the one who injured Nathan McKinnon last year with a headshot. So I'm sure Colorado would love for him to play against them. I'm sure in this day and age, probably not as much as in the past, because if he had done that back in the 90s, they would have been waiting for him to get on that ice. Then on the defensive side, Milosh has played games before. Paschiniak, he had a few games last year. Melnichuk, like I said, 3 games last year, 0-1. Not the best numbers in the games he played, but he is only 23, so you got some growing to do there. Now let's see. They don't have any first-round picks on this list. No, they have one, Ryan Merkley. Yeah, Ryan Merkley. Ozzy Wiesblatt too, but he's on the loan side. So is Tristan Robbins. You have highest pick outside of Ryan Merkley, not Nick Merkley, Ryan Merkley, is Artemy Knizhev, a 5'10" defender from Russia. So we'll see where he ends up playing this year. If he goes to KHL or VHL, something like that, I'm not sure. On the prospect side, I know one they're looking forward to is Thomas Bordeleau, but he is playing in college hockey right now, so not an option until later in the season at the earliest. I know Brandon Coe is one that's been talked about before too. I'm not sure. I'm guessing college hockey too. And yep, that's about all that I really know on their prospect list. I don't recognize any of the others, but yeah, those are our highest picks on that list, other than a couple of goalies. But goalies we all know take longer to develop, so I wouldn't expect to see them. Top prospects: William Eklund, center wing, 23 points in 40 SHL games. That's a very good output for an 18-year-old in the SHL. Like, that is spectacular, honestly. Thomas Bordeleau, 30 points in 24 NCAA games. That's a very good output, too. Ozzy Wiesblatt, right wing center, 28 points in 23 WHL games and 3 points in 6 AHL games. Didn't look that uncomfortable in the AHL games, not gonna lie. Artemi Knizhev, 18 points in 14 QMJHL games. And Ryan Merkley, 11 points in 31 AHL games. And I know with all his problems he's had throughout junior, from what I understand, they kind of followed him last year. So that one may be a kind of like a Tony D'Angelo. Like, we'll give you a chance, but the minute you start being yourself, we're just going to say bye-bye. Others mentioned Daniil Gushchin, a winger, Tristan Robbins, a center winger, Jonathan Dahlin, who looks like he's made the team this year, a left winger, Joaquin Blickfeld, a winger, and Santeri Hataka, a defender, looks like he's made the team too. Season outlook, they are probably going to be a bottom range team. I don't see this team making a ton of noise. I can see them finishing as high as the middle of this division, but that's just because the Pacific Division is god-awful. I mean, outside of Vegas and Edmonton, it's basically just a crapshoot. I mean, theoretically, Calgary should get that third spot, them or LA, but I can even see San Jose sneaking into that if they have a good year, and if the goaltending works out for them, for sure. And maybe if Carlson and Burns figure out how to play defense again, that would help too. I mean, the forwards just are lacking, in my opinion, and the same complaint I've had about them for the last, 5 years. They have no forward depth. They have no defensive depth. And they still don't. Because, I mean, they have a lot of young guys. But the problem is, young players, you don't necessarily know if you can rely on them. You don't. You hope you can. And when it works out, great. But when it doesn't, it can fail spectacularly. And then it gets ugly real fast. So that's what I got for you for the San Jose Sharks. Like I said, most likely going to be a bottom range team, and even if they slipped into the playoffs, they are not going to go far, I'd imagine. They'll probably be a first round out. But that's as far as I can see them going at best. So that's what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and let me know in the comments what you think. If you agree, disagree, let me know. I'm right here. Just be civil. And share the video as well, and I will see you on next video. Bye, everybody.